I got the keyway roughed in using an 1.25" roughing in mill. We got approximately, I don't know, 20-25 thousandths to come out of the width, and maybe 5 to 10 off the bottom. We'll finish it out with that 1.25" in mill there. So here's the fit of our first key right there, 36mm, with just a little bit tight on the key. It'll bump down in there and stay tight. I just finished up the 1.25" keyway on this end, the shaft end, and then there's our gauge block stack up. This is 1.250. One is 250. Here's a pair of shafts that I'm working on, getting finished up today. Those are identical shafts. Both of them are exactly the same in dimensions. And both of them are bad on this end. From this burnt bearing journal here all the way out, all this is bad on the ends. Spalling, wear, the bearing fits here are bad, and the keyways are bad. So I'm building 2 new ones. Here's one of them. And this one is finished on this end here. There's your difference between the shaft fit and the bearing fit there. 2 thousandths. But I still got to finish that side. Alright, we come down here. This one I just finished. I got the indicators on the bearing journals. Got a little bit of a flicker on that one there. And this one right here. Looking pretty good. Alright, so that one's done. So to the mill with that one, but we're gonna go ahead and get that other one finished first. About to set it up now and get it finished out. Here's one of 2 gearbox shafts that I just finished. We got a pair of them. Started off life as 3" 4140. That's your bearing journal right there, and then that's your shaft fit there. 2 thousandths difference. Okay, so that's one. Here's the pair that we're making. They're identical. A lot of wear on these ends here. Bad bearing fit, seal fit, shaft fits, and keyways. And that's the other shaft that's already turned and finished. It's got my oil protection, rust inhibitor on there. Working on the keyways now. Already got that other side milled. What I'm using is an 11/16 end mill to rough the keyway out. It's 6 1/8 of an inch long, and then I'll grab this 3/4 and finish it out with the 3/4. Bring it right to size, and less tool pressure on the mill. There's the first one completed. And we got the door open today. The weather's real nice right now. So now we're going back in with our 3/4 inch end mill to finish it out. And I have to, on the other key anyway, I had to move it over 1/1000 to bring the keyway width to the proper size. I use my gauge blocks to measure it out. And what I do is I have a snug fit on a 0.750 stack up of gauge blocks in there. There's the chips that was 11/16 chips. These are some of the 3/4 chips here. So now we're just working on the third keyway, which is in the center of the shaft for the gear fit. So we got both the end keyways done. I did those first because those journal sizes are exactly the same. Now we're going to finish this one up. Same technique, rough it out with an 11/16 end mill, and I go back in there and I finish it with a 3/4 inch end mill. I've been having to bump it over 2 to 3 thousandths now to get it to the proper fit. And this is just a little trick here, any kind of little bar to help keep the coolant contained from trying to run down everywhere. All right, there's one of them finished up. There's that key that I just was working on. So this shaft is done. This is the one that we just finished. I just sprayed it down with this bow shield. I thought I would point this out. I've showed this before. This is what I use right here to help short-term protection from flash rusting. And this is sprayed on yesterday on this shaft. You can see I just kind of wiped it with my finger. So it hasn't fully dried yet, but this stuff does a really good job. It dries and leaves a little oily film on the surface to prevent rusting. Pretty good little product. So here's a look at the shaft without it spinning. So that there is your chrome plated journal. This right here. Now I don't know why they put that line in it right there. That was just done from the chrome plating. That was kind of a bad job on their part. Now this is the other journal here that I have to do as well. This is also a bearing journal, and it was chrome plated. So I have to do this one next. And both of those are your bearing journals that I'll have to grind in between centers. And so far the grinder's doing pretty good. It's definitely better than my personal grinder. Mine's a 1/4 horse, and this one being a 1 horsepower. So it's got a little bit more power there for that rock. Let's see if we can rotate it. You can see, you know, it's not even yet because it's just chrome plated. And that's what it looks like when you grind it. I've got approximately 8 more thousandths to bring that into size. And I am using compound infeed, 1 line per pass until I get really close, and then I'll back off and we'll slow the feed rate down, or the in feed. We'll back off on our in feed. Check out that output. Looking good, man. All right, it's looking good. This is some upcoming work that I got to do. There's a large rotating assembly for one of the local industrial sites. There's the shaft. I got to make a new shaft for it. It's just kind of stuck down through there. Looks like it's been apart for a long time and been sitting outside. We got 4 bolts that are broken off and seized off into that plate there. I got to get out. And then these 2 plates here, I have to machine new ones. Those are the bearing plates that mount on either side of that, one on the top and then one on the bottom down there. So that's some work that I got coming up pretty soon. That's some parts off the old Swedish meatball back there, that big gearbox. After I weld the rod and the new eye together, I always set it up in the bore mill here because the welding does distort the eye. I usually leave about 40 to 50 thousandths to bring it to size inside there, and you can see we're making our first cut. I usually make like 2 cuts. I'll make one through there to kind of clean it up and mic it, and then I'll just bring it to size. And I'll machine the bronze bushing that goes in there to match that bore for a press fit. Take a piece of our bronze stock right there on the shelf and machine a bushing. Here's some more shafts that landed on my workbench here that I got to work on. I got to build a new shaft right here, and this is a worm shaft for a worm gear. It fits inside this worm gear right here. It has got some very bad wear on it. You can see right there. And we got wear inside the bore of this gear as well. So first thing I'm going to do is set this gear up and skin this ID to make it nice and round and true. And we'll probably modify one of those keys. And I'll machine this to fit the gear properly and give it a proper fit on the key as well. And you've also got a bad seal fit here. See how the corrosion, this is in a highly corrosive environment right here. That is going to be a piece of 3-inch 4140. I'm going to get started on that. Now there's the actual worm that goes to the gear, and I just did some seal journal fits on that. This guy right here, I just spray welded that, and then this side down here I spray welded that, and we're going to reuse those. So I got another shaft to make here. I'm going to get started on it. So what I've done is set up the worm gear that is going to be for the new shaft. By the way, here's the start of the new shaft that we've got to make there. I got the ends faced, drilled and tapped. We want to clean up the bore to this gear because it's got wear in it, and I've just touched off, and I'm just showing you. You can see half of it's not even touching there. And I've got this perfectly true. We got the face true, and I have this trued up as well. Okay, so we're going to bore it out to clean up only, and then we'll machine the shaft to fit this bore here with 1 to 2 thousandths interference fit. We got that gear running perfectly true. So now we'll have a nice fresh bore. That's our first cleanup cut. You can see where I've touched there and where the wear is. So I'll just continue to take a little bit out until that's cleaned up nice and round. Get the shaft roughed in now. I got the shaft completely roughed in. All the journals are 50 to 60 thousandths off of their finished sizes, and it's just about quitting time Friday. So pulled it out of the lathe, and we're going to let it sit there and then de-stress. So Monday I'll come in and set it up and start finishing it out. And then there's a shot of the gear with the fresh bore in there. You can see there's a couple little pits that I didn't clean up, but other than that, the whole gear bore is good and on size now.